Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 13.1.3 has been out for a few days. I've been using it on my iPhone 11 Pro, also my iPhone 11, and primarily on my iPad Pro 12.9. That's what I've used it on the most, and I have it on some other devices as well. Now in this video I'm going to talk about my experience, and then I'll talk about your experience based off the YouTube community poll, where over 13,000 of you voted and over 350 of you commented. So I've taken all of that information, compiled it into a list of issues that people are seeing the most, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll look at some of your comments directly. Now, as far as my experience, it's actually been pretty good. And on the iPhones anyway, it's been okay, but not so much on the iPads. So as far as smoothness and things on the iPhones, I've had no issues. I've had no lockups whatsoever. And in fact, my iPhone 11 here is a mirror of what I have on my other device as well, that I use primarily the 11 Pro Max. So I go back and forth and I get an idea of what it's like. So I've had no lockups, no freezing, but occasionally I will have connectivity issues on all of my devices. I don't know why that is. It's not carrier related. I have a lot of you reporting the same thing. Now, the overall experience for me, like I said, is fine, except for one thing, Notes. And Notes is across the iPad, the Mac, and the iPhone. It's not syncing in real time. So what that means is I'll put a note in and then go over to my iPad, for example, and it won't be there. I'll have to close the app out, go back into it, and then it resyncs. And I guess from the comments, I'm not the only one having this issue. It seems you are also having this issue from time to time as well, with it syncing in real time to iCloud. Now, as far as my iPad, I've actually been having quite a few issues on the iPad itself. So the iPad is my favorite device, and this is something that I use constantly when I'm not editing video. So when I'm home, I'll watch YouTube on it or do everything from finance to Safari to my mail. This is what I use the most for computing when I'm at home. And when I have issues with it, it drives me crazy, and I've been having a ton of touch issues. Specifically down here, if there's something in the last used dock here, go into it. Sometimes these buttons just don't work. I can tap on YouTube and it won't open. Sometimes that happens. It probably happens every day or two, and then I'll actually have to turn the screen off, turn it back on, then I can use it. But it's just better if I reboot it and then it speeds back up. It kind of gets slow and sluggish. I'm not sure what's going on with this since it's a public release. So I've had all sorts of touch issues with my iPads since the actual betas of iOS 13 or iPadOS 13. And so far it's been really a pain to use. As much as I love the features, it's just kind of a pain when those sort of things happen. So I know I'm not the only one having touch issues also, and it's unfortunate that it's happening. So hopefully Apple will fix it soon, because I know a lot of you are annoyed by that as well. Now, as far as your experience, quite a few of you are saying that you're having great performance. In fact, most people are saying you have good performance. And that means scrolling and going into different apps, launching it. There are a few people, though, saying that it stutters from time to time, and that's generally on older devices such as the iPhone 7 or SE or 6S Plus, for example. Now, as far as battery life for me is actually quite good on the iPhone. It's pretty decent, but on the iPad, it's terrible. So on the iPad, let's go back into the iPad here. We'll go to settings, go down to battery, wait for it to load, and you'll see here's my usage. It says 3 hours and 19 minutes, and I'm almost using about 40% battery. This should be getting about 10 hours of battery life, and so far I've not really gotten near that. Even though it's saying the usage is low, I use this quite a lot, so I don't know what it is. I feel like I have to charge this a lot more often than I normally do, and I seem to find that to be the case. Now, this phone was on all day as well, so if we go to battery, I was using this to record some other video, so you'll see it says 2 hours and 22 minutes of screen on time, 3 minutes of screen off time, and I used only about a quarter of the battery, so it's actually doing pretty well. So maybe 8 hours of screen on time with this phone, and that's pretty good for this. Now, as far as battery for you, that's kind of hit or miss, because half of you said it's pretty bad, and then the other half said it's fantastic. So It didn't really seem to be related to a specific device. One comment would say that it's great on an iPhone 7. The next would say it's terrible on an iPhone 7. It's really hit or miss depending on which device you're using. It's hard to say. It could be a chipset thing. I don't really know, but there's definitely quite a few of you having bad battery life, and then the other half doing just fine. Some people are still having connectivity issues when leaving Wi-Fi or having poor signal strength with LTE, although signal strength bars don't mean a whole lot when you compare phone to phone because they can just be different signal levels and it's just how the bars are showing up. Unfortunately, we can't see the signal level directly, and so we don't really have any idea what the true strength is compared to what it was before. Now, one of the bugs this update was supposed to fix is incoming calls not showing up, and there's still a few people having that issue, and I was wondering if it was attributed to the silence unknown callers in your phone settings. So if you go into settings, go into your phone, make sure silence unknown callers is not causing the problem. Maybe try turning it off and see if you get those messages or those phone calls and voicemails coming in, because that may or may not be the issue. Other people are still reporting that Bluetooth is not working well with their car, and this update was supposed to fix that as well, but apparently people are still having that issue. And then some people are still having issue with mail. And now, thankfully, I think in the betas that's fixed, 13.2, it seems to be fine for me. But in these versions, I still have people saying that there's issues with mail. It's not refreshing. It's not syncing in time. Mail might be out of order. And I'm getting messages about that as well. But overall, I think they fix it in the next update. That should be out, I think, somewhere around October 30th. We're not really sure for sure, definitely, but hopefully we'll see it soon. Now let's take a look at the YouTube community poll. Now, as you can see, it says 13K votes, so that means over 13,000 of you voted, which is pretty incredible. 391 of you commented, and I've read every single one of these comments except for maybe a few that were in the past couple minutes while I was making this video. Now, if we take a look at what you voted on, it says 55% of you said it was great, 5% said terrible, which I think is a couple percent higher than last time. 19% said okay, but some bugs. 12% of you are on the betas, and 10% of you are on Android. So thanks so much for participating, even though you're not using iOS. Now let's sort these by oldest first and take a look at some of the comments. Maybe we'll take a look at 10 or 20, and I'm going to try and comment on ones that are on different devices, so we can get kind of an idea of what it's like across all devices. I'm using iOS 13.1.3 on my iPhone XS Max, and it's been amazing. I haven't gotten any bugs to date. The speed is great with whatever I do, and battery life too has improved. Cellular and Wi-Fi connectivity too seems to be better. Thanks, and I love your videos. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's been great on my iPhone 6S. Very fast and smooth, battery life is good, no noticeable bugs so far. iOS 13 is going great on my iPhone SE, and 13.2 beta versions are causing battery issues on my 6S. iPhone 11, LTE much better. iOS 13.1.3 is really good on my iPhone 7 Plus and iPhone 8 Plus. I didn't have issues on 13.1.2 and either on 13.1.3 on my XR. I keep encountering a rotation bug on my 2018 iPad Pro 12.9 when using the Apple keyboard cover. Otherwise, it's a great experience on my iPad Pro and my iPhone 11 Pro Max. I haven't had that rotation bug, and I do use that cover. I really like it. My 6S Plus had a lockup of the music player. Only a cold boot got it back again. Since then, no issues with it. It was strange. Nothing I did would start it up again. Closing all apps. Warm boot. Nothing. I'll keep an eye on it. So far, so good with everything else. iPhone SE here. All good. iPhone XR with not a single problem. Battery drainage issues and slower data issues on iPhone 6S. The battery runs out quickly on iPhone 8. iPhone XR, the update is the smoothest version of all. Performance is a little increased as well. I'm using iPhone X, experiencing bugs in the Photos app. I can't send pictures that I take in portrait mode. iPhone X, Mail app still not perfect. After deleting one mail, the following remains unread when reading it. Battery performance is perfect for native apps, however quite bad for social media apps such as Twitter, etc. Faster overall performance and Face ID than iOS 12. I am on iPhone 11 Pro Max. My usage can last me for up to 18 hours on a single full charge. I am very impressed with the better battery life compared to the XS Max. Overall, it has been great. Hopefully the Fusion feature for the new iPhone's camera would be fantastic when it comes to photo taking. I've played around with it a little bit. It's hard to notice depending on which environment you're in. People are calling it sweater mode for a reason, and that's because you can see it in fine detailed things. My iPhone 8 is running great on iOS 13.1.3. I did not seem to see any issues with this version except for Bluetooth connection. When I was using my Beats headphones on my iPhone, it suddenly disconnected and I could not hear music. I looked into the music app and it says the song is playing. I then went to my Mac and saw that the Bluetooth was connected to my Beats headphones. Hopefully Apple will fix this in 13.2. That's actually a feature where it's trying to jump to what it thinks you're using most. So that's normally how it works. If you're on your Mac, it assumes you want to use your voice on that or use your headphones on that. I have iOS 13.1.3 on an iPhone 8 Plus. No issues whatsoever. It's been excellent. I'm using an iPhone 7 Plus, 128 gigabytes. It's been great. iPhone XS Max works fine, but my iPad Air still has touch unresponsiveness. RAM management is bad on iPhone 11 Pro. I think app developers need to update their apps as far as that goes. While many people are complaining about heavy battery drain, my iPhone 10 actually seems to last around 1 hour longer. Using the iPhone 11 with no issues. iPhone 8 and iPad mini 4, all of the issues I had with my apps are gone and battery life is better than ever. My daughter's 10R has iOS 13.1.3 and my 11 Pro Max has the latest 13.2 beta. I now cannot control screen time on her phone correctly. The always available doesn't populate with apps either, just throwing that out there. It's probably the beta versus the regular version. I'm still on iPhone 7 and the update has been great actually. iPhone 10, awesome battery life, LOL. There was one I saw when I was looking through these. This will be the last one. I'm using an iPhone SE. My battery life is good, but have an issue in Safari. Whenever I try to close a tab, it just disappears until I press the plus icon. It appears as a new tab, but loads the previous website that I just closed. Please answer the request. I mentioned it's a humble request. I'm from India. So you're saying that you go into Safari, and then you have this tab. Maybe you open another tab, open another Apple site, and then you close it and then open another one and it goes back, or you close these out. I'm not sure what you're saying is I'm not able to reproduce it, but it's kind of an odd bug and I'd be curious if anyone else has that issue. That's it for iOS 13.1.3. As far as another update, I would expect one to come out sometime around the end of the month as far as the final release of 13.2 due to those Beats headphones that are releasing. Those Beats headphones have active noise cancellation, which was found in the code of 13.2. So when they release to the public, I would expect it to be in that. So maybe around the 30th. As far as an Apple event in October, it's hard to say for sure. I'm getting mixed signals about that, but maybe we'll have an event, and if so, I would expect those invites to go out this coming week. So hopefully we'll see something there, but if not, maybe we'll see the Mac Pro at least. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description as I always do. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you'd like to see more of these videos as soon as they're released. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.